defending the oil supply costs a lot of money. One of the pretenses of right-wing energy policy is that conservatives support a level playing field, upon which energy sources can compete without subsidies. Let the market decide. As I have written many times, this is a juvenile notion. Markets are powerful tools for directing private capital and innovation, useful in the right circumstances. But the idea that there ever has been, or ever can be, an open, unbiased, free market for energy sources is a fantasy that should stay in the college library with the Ayn Rand novels. It is analytically inert, it does nothing to illuminate whether current markets are working or help us decide how best to use markets to serve our greater goals. The fundamental reason the free market ideal is unhelpful in energy is that it's impossible to ever truly settle what is and isn't a market-distorting subsidy. Some subsidies, like explicit cash grants or tax breaks, are easy enough to identify, but beyond that there is a whole complex world of implicit subsidies. If an energy source has negative impacts that are not incorporated in its market price, negative externalities, in the jargon, that means other people are paying for those impacts. The source is implicitly subsidized. Here's the thing, every energy source and energy industry has both positive and negative externalities. Deciding which ones distort markets, which ones count as implicit subsidies, or implicit taxes, virtually always comes down to a subjective judgment. And the implicit subsidies dwarf the explicit subsidies, so arguing about the latter while unable to agree on the former is uniquely pointless. In practice, most political disputes over subsidies just end up obscuring values-based arguments about what kind of future we want behind a veil of pseudo-objective economic jargon. One's own favorite energy sources receive common-sense support, the other side's energy sources are on corporate welfare. And so it goes. Fossil fuel subsidies, OSI. Various oil subsidies that oil fans don't consider subsidies. This week brought an excellent example, in the form of a new paper from Securing America's Future Energy, SAFE, a clean energy advocacy group composed of retired military and business leaders. It attempts to put a number on one of the great, neglected implicit subsidies for oil, the costs to the U.S. military of defending oil supplies, everything from guarding shipping lanes to maintaining troop commitments in key oil-producing nations. The number, it turns out, is high, $81 billion a year at the low end, which is almost certainly conservative. But is that a subsidy for oil? It is certainly one way oil dependence has shaped the country, its history, and its institutions, one of countless ways, but does putting a dollar figure on it and calling it a market distortion clarify anything or convince anyone? We will ponder those questions in a moment, but first, a quick look at the study.